Good. Okay, you can join this choir.
Yeah.
So I went there, and then from that on, all these competitions, all these solos and things like that, I always won. So they started to announce my name in a homeroom class.
All the time.
All the time. Calling Taiwan Yai. Right.
Taiwan Yai was getting all these awards. So it raises an interesting question. Do you think you would have become a singer if you had not moved to America and gone through that difficult time?
I have no idea.
Yeah.
I've never thought of
Interesting
that.
question.
Yeah.
You can't know, but...
No, but even until I was high school, the senior in high school, I didn't want to be a singer.
Oh, really?
My early action, the college when I went to college fair,
right.
My early action was I only put my application in a Air Force Academy, West Point, and Naval Academy.
This is if you remember last week we had the woman, we found out she collects knives and swords, right?
That's right.
그 지난주에 우리가 알게 됐던 것 중에 하나는 그 칼과 sword, what is that? 큰 칼, 장칼 수집하신다고 하셨는데 그러면서 또
군인이 되고
대학교만 지원하셨네요. You only applied to West Point, the #1 Army college in America, Air Force Academy, #1 Air Force college in America, and
Naval Academy.
The Naval Academy.
육사, 해사, 공사.
Yeah. So you really planned on being in the military.
Right.
까보지 말아요. 싸우지 말아요. Don't mess with her. Huh? She's wow. And what was the interest in there?
I always wanted to become a military person.
Really?
Yeah. My one of my uncles is a 2-star, an Air Force
general.
A general. Well,
oh wow!
And I always looked at him like, oh, maybe I should. I really want to become one of those people.
Yeah. Okay. So you looked at him and said, I want to be like him someday.
Wearing all this uniform.
Wearing the uniform, always clean, always impressive, straight backed and everything.
Right. So when I went to college fair in my senior year in high school, I asked them, even though I wanted to go to all those schools, I wanted to know if there's any choir there. Because I didn't want to give up singing because I loved singing.
Really?
They said, oh yeah, we do have a choir. So, okay. So I applied for only those 3 for the early action. And then they called me and they said, oh, I'm very sorry, we cannot accept your application. So why? Because you're not a citizen. I wasn't 18 yet. So I couldn't get U.S. citizen at the time.
So your parents were not citizens yet?
Not yet.
So you could not become a citizen yet either?
Right.
So you could not go to any of the military.
Any of them.
So terrible. This must have been very terrible. You had to go to a different university.
Right.
Where did you go?
So I went to Juilliard instead.
Isn't life interesting?
It is very interesting.
You think the worst thing that can happen to you sometimes ends up being the best thing that can happen to you sometimes, huh? So you got rejected by all 3 of those schools because you weren't an American citizen, and you had to go to Juilliard. How did you get into Juilliard? One of the greatest music schools in the world.
I was living in New York at the time.
Right.
And the church that I was attending, the Korean church, our conductor he graduated Juilliard. And he called me one day and said, Taewon, I believe that you're a very good singer. Why don't you try to take some lessons of singing? Because I think you have a very good chance of being a singer. I said, really? Okay, then maybe I'll